Ko Rauhua Kātani.
The Māori Party in our founding statement expressed our commitment to keeping our natural resources and environment healthy, safe and intact for everyone and for future generations. Within this, the Māori Party is also committed to assisting whānau, hapu and iwi as tangata tiaki to take whatever measures are necessary to ensure the well-being and future good health of the environment. Both of these commitments lead us, naturally enough, towards a position of support for this biosecurity law reform bill. There are 5 key areas identified in this bill: border risk management, marine biosecurity, readiness and response, pest management, compliance and enforcement. Sustainable success in these areas will depend on the level of decision-making which ultimately leads the operational side of biosecurity. It is for this reason that we believe it is important to look at the decision-making for biosecurity before delving into minute details of the bill. At the very core of the Treaty of Waitangi is the principle of equal partnership. This means real involvement by tangata whenua at decision-making level, regionally, nationally and at ministerial level. As Kaitiaki and Treaty of Waitangi partners, Māori have a particular interest in ensuring appropriate delivery and integration of mātauranga Māori, me ona tikanga, into biosecurity science. This integration must occur in a way that maintains the cultural integrity of these knowledge systems and cultural practices. Constant communication with Biosecurity New Zealand would allow Māori to build capacity and capability in this field. But this House is also considerably better off at this point of the second reading than we were when the bill first came before the House last year, given the wisdom reported in Y262. What that report tells us is that Māori have diverse interests in the management of taonga, such as Indigenous flora, fauna and resources, as both kaitiaki and developer. These dual roles oblige Māori to be involved in decisions that may impact on taonga. Y262 informs the House that iwi have relationships with species which are emblematic and have a spiritual element to them and their connection to the wider ecosystem, particularly with regard to native plants such as harakeke, koromiko, pohutakawa, kōwhai, puawānanga, poroporo, kawakawa, mānuka and kumara, and also as uri of Ngāti Koata, of course, I am proud to speak of our direct relationship to the tuatara. The relationship is underpinned by our own knowledge of these species, or mātauranga Māori. Yet the understandings of New Zealanders with the environment today are largely based on the Pākehā relationship with the environment, the Māori relationship being overlooked. Eventually, this will cause this traditional knowledge and approaches to be lost. Mr. Speaker, the interests of kaitiaki and those involved in the advancement of scientific and economic knowledge needs to be managed so a balance between the two can be achieved and both interests can be recognised and respected. How that relates to this legislation is quite simple. There is an expectation that their cultural, spiritual, environmental and economic values will be explicitly reflected in the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, Biosecurity New Zealand's decision-making processes. We believe that Māori are well positioned to identify biosecurity issues and research needs important to Māori. At a national level, we would like to see tangata whenua values and interests incorporated in the management of biosecurity, as it is an effective way to recognise the customary use of Indigenous biodiversity according to tikanga. This would mean a real partnership between tangata whenua and the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry Biosecurity New Zealand. Too often, Māori are brought into the fray by government departments too late in the process. More often than not, the fundamentals of a decision have been made already. It is largely a box-ticking exercise at that point, which benefits no one, especially iwi. The Māori Party believes that the government can and should do better than this. Māori need to be involved when the decisions are being made, not after a decision has been reached. The relationship with Biosecurity New Zealand, therefore, would have to be one between tangata whenua and the Director-General to be of any real substance. Such a relationship would also ensure that Māori have the opportunity to debate and table reports such as Y262 before the Director-General, as one would expect from a treaty partnership. At the very core of the Treaty of Waitangi is the principle of equal partnership. This means real involvement by tangata whenua at decision level, regionally, nationally and at a ministerial level. We would like to hear from the Minister how a formal relationship between iwi and the Director-General of Biosecurity New Zealand can be enhanced. It is also important for Māori to be aware of potential impacts from incursions of pests and diseases associated with taonga and resources in their rohe. At the regional level there, we believe that the legislation should provide for the role of tangata whenua as kaitiaki when developing and implementing regional policy statements and regional and district plans associated with biosecurity. A blueprint of how this partnership could work is the Ngāti Tūwharetoa, Raukawa and Te Arawa River Iwi Waikato River Act 2010, which sees iwi have equal representation on decision-making and management bodies, as well as allowing for mana whenua iwi to develop their own strategies for the river. This will eventually be incorporated into the Waikato Regional Policy Statement. During this significant week for Tainui Waikato, with the Koroneihana in progress, it is fitting to pay tribute to those visionaries behind this legislation. This is a true treaty relationship at a regional level and goes beyond cursory consultation, which has proven ineffectual for Māori. It is indeed a model which we would hope this biosecurity law reform legislation could benefit from. We also believe that an arrangement whereby iwi have equal say in decisions that affect them would address the need to ensure that there is a regular and informed consultation with tangata whenua as it relates to protecting and enhancing areas and habitats that have particular significance for Māori. The key requirement is that tangata whenua should be involved in and be given equal decision-making status in the development and implementation of regional policy statements and regional and district plans associated with biosecurity. Finally, at a ministerial level, we believe that it is in the best interests of iwi to be extensively represented on the Biosecurity Council of New Zealand, which plays an important role in strategic biosecurity policy development, as well as advising the Minister for Biosecurity. The Council has representatives from each of the primary production sectors, environmental organisations and regional councils, and yet there is no iwi voice. The Māori Party believes that this needs to change for there to be a lasting treaty partnership in relation to biosecurity. We want to see the active involvement of tangata whenua in the protection of cultural values to protect the native plants and animals and other resources that are taonga to Māori. In order to achieve this very important goal, Māori need to be involved in decision-making at all levels and government need to be bold. We believe that the provisions we have sought are sufficient for this.